Greetings, salutations, and all good things in between. What's up, everyone? Matt here. I hope you had a good weekend or a good week. I hope you got a lot of stuff done. I know I did. Never enough time in the day, right? But, I've been making some good progress. Things are good. So what are we doing this week? All right, well, I got a couple of sample apps that I put out. So last week I did the quick chart thing and I made a line chart integration. So I took that and that's now available. It's on my AppSheet profile. Link in the description. Check it out. Also, it's Christmas time, so a lot of places nowadays, I know offices, they like to run a Secret Santa campaign. So I've made a sample app it's not really a sample, but I've made an app to run a Secret Santa campaign. The app is available on my profile, link in the description. And if you would like to participate in a 2022 AppSheet Community Secret Santa, I'm gonna run one of those. This app is available. There's a link down in there. I have the app that's hosted. I'm gonna go over all of this and we'll get into some details. Other than that, we've got, not much from AppSheet. It's kind of standard, right? For the deep dive, I'm gonna continue with the quick chart thing that I've been doing. I'm gonna show you how to do some quick and easy things that don't require like all that setup that I had to do last week. There's some charts that you can use from quick chart that don't need any of that. I'm gonna go over all of that. And then I'm gonna show how you can take that line chart that I did from last week and make that a dynamic thing so that we can change the type of chart that is. And then of course, the live chat with your questions. All right, everybody, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. Let's get going. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to go over is the line chart, quick chart integration that I made. So last week I did all of that long stuff showing about how to take some details and get the data that I need, whatever, so that I can then push that into a quick chart and make a line graph out of that. I have taken that app that I made and I've put it into a sample app here that'll show you so you can make a copy of it. You can see how all the little fiddly bits are put together and all of that. It's available, link in the description, and it's on my AppSheet profile. Check that out when you want. The other thing that I put out is it's Christmas time. I alluded to this, and there is a lot of places that like to do Secret Santa, so I made an app to run all of that, right? So what does that mean? That like, what are we really talking about? Well, we're talking about like basically a simple data collection place where people can throw their name and maybe some gift ideas or whatever. And then at some point when everything's ready to go, like push a button and it matches everybody up, sends an email to those people with the information for the person that they've been matched with, and we're good to go. Happy days. So I've got this app. It's available for you to make a copy of. So if you want to use this to run an inter-office Secret Santa campaign, you totally can. If I go through the app really, really fast here and just kind of showing you the initial bits. Come on, why is this taking so long to load? There we go. So when somebody first shows up to the app, right, this is what they land on, is this, this landing page, whatever. And there's this tab, open activity. You come in here, there's some details in here about like, what's the deadline for when you can submit your information? When do you want to deliver things? Any kind of gift guidelines and any kind of like actual gift ideas. And then a list of everybody that's involved, like anybody who's already signed up. And to add yourself to the list, you just click the button, put in your name, put in your email. Do you want your email visible to other people or not? Put in your street address, city, state, zip, all this. I have a nice little address privacy notice because, this is an AppSheet app, so the data is not going to, some corporate server. I mean, kind of is, Google, but it's not going to some private thing. It's going to my private Google folder. And so this is just kind of telling everybody that like, don't worry about it. Your address is safe. And you could always change that if you wanted. And then at the bottom of this submission form, there's a space for them to upload their photo and give any kind of gift ideas that they would like to add. And then that's all that's available for anybody that's not the person running the campaign. I've actually locked this one down, or I haven't locked this. This is the freely available app, the one that you can copy. And so there's two modes for this app. There is, if you go to settings up here, there's a participant mode, which is what it starts in. And then there's a facilitator mode. And this is, the person that's going to be running this. And what I've done, if you go to the link for the 2022 AppSheet community Secret Santa thing, you'll notice if you go to the settings, this option isn't there. It's because I've hidden that, because I've already done all of the facilitator stuff and nobody's supposed to be going in there, right? So this is available at the very beginning. You can go in here, and what this does is it turns the app into facilitator mode so that you can go through and set up your thing that you're trying to run. I have a little onboarding page here that'll walk you through some various bits about what's really going on. But really everything's kind of all up here. And so there's this open activity, and you can see for the facilitator of the activity, there's a few more options that are available. They can still add information, and this stays available for the whole time that the activity is marked as open and ready, right? So that you see this little ready status here. This is available here. The idea being the facilitator might need the ability to add somebody to the mix if they can't get access to the app or whatever. So that's the whole idea. You've got the ability to complete the activity, and you have the test email. So the complete activity, you wouldn't want to do that right now. So there's only one person in the mix, but if I add someone else, right? And I do email@email.com. Yeah, and then if I just kind of put some gibberish in here, just so we can get through and save the record. All right, so I'm in facilitator mode for this app, and now that there's more than one person inside the app, we have the ability to match people up, right? Because you need two people in order to match people up, right? Two or more. So as soon as two people are present inside the system, this purple match people button comes up, and then you can press this. And what happens when you do that is it runs through, and little preamble before this, when people first submit their information, they're assigned a random number between 1 and 999, just a whole bunch of nines. So they're assigned this really big number, right? So, okay, that happens when they create their entry into the system. And so then when you press this match people thing, all the system's doing is it's saying, cool, sort that table based on all of those numbers, and then give those numbers, put them in order, as in, so we're not using these crazy big numbers anymore. We're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then based on those numbers, match whatever record I am with the next person in line. So they were all randomized to begin with because I assigned them all a whole bunch of random numbers. And then I put those random numbers in order. And so then I'm just saying, cool, all right, now that everybody's in this randomly assigned order, take whatever this record is and assign it to the next one. And then for the bottom one, assign it to the first one. Done. And then, so when you push this, it does that sort of matching system. It then runs through and sends an email to everybody with that person's shipping information, their address and all that, whatever. Any of the gift ideas that they put out, and you're good to go. So this sample app is available on my profile. You can go over there and make a copy of it so that you can run your own campaign. You can actually run multiples of this if you would like. And if you would like to participate in a 2022 AppSheet community Secret Santa activity that I'm going to run this year using this app, there's a link in the description where you can go and fill out your details and participate. Happy days. US only, international shipping and all that. Yeah. If you wanted to run some sort of UK AppSheet developer Secret Santa, by all means, I'd love to hear about that. That'd be great to hear. But anyways, that's this main sample app that I've got that I put out. trying to stick into the spirit and all that. So this is the app where you can go and sign up for this year's AppSheet Community Secret Santa. I wonder why that takes so long to load like that. Should be pretty quick. Anyways, so here you go. This is the one that I'm actually running for this year. You can see, right? So if you go over here, you can add your details in and be good to go. If you'll notice, you try and go up into settings, there's nothing that you can do on this one because this is the one that I'm running. And what I've done is I just went inside here to this setting and said, don't show the thing where people can change between participant and whatever. I just hid that. No, you can't see it. Don't. I'm not letting you people change it. So you can't change any of the settings for the thing that I'm running. Happy days. But anyways, if you would like to participate, head on over to this app, throw your details in, and we can get a nice little Secret Santa thing going for the AppSheet community. I've wanted to do this for a few years now, and it was just a matter of logistics. Do you know what I mean? And that's when I came up with the idea for the app. I'm like, yeah, well, AppSheet, we can make an app for the logistics. It'll just be, and we're done. Here you go. So head on over there, sign up, join in the fun. Good times. All right, that's all I've got for this section. Let's move on to the questions. All right, this first question comes from Kunjaral. It is on the, if I come in here and zoom in a little bit more so you can see the thing. It's for this video I put out a few months ago maybe now, that shows you how you can create a duplicate inline view. So like I'm looking at a parent, like an order, and I've got a list of order details, right? Maybe I have that in a table view. This video shows you how you can take that same data, that same table view, and make a chart view, like a pie graph or something out of it. Somebody had asked, Kunjaro asked a question. Thanks, Matt. Is there a way to do this on related filtered tables such as active and inactive? The answer is yes. And this is actually something that I kind of consider a core AppSheet skill. I call it data subsets. And basically the idea is that you would create a slice that holds the subset of the child records that you want. Not specific to the parent. Like, I'm not hard coding my slice to say parent link equals whatever. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying the status equals active. And then I'll create another one for status equals inactive. So now I've got these two major buckets of data, right, as slices. Okay, now the cool thing about AppSheet is that AppSheet treats slices the same way that they treat tables. They're literally kind of the same thing inside AppSheet. So any place where you have a table name, you can exchange that with a slice name, which means if I have a parent child that I've created, right, the system automatically created the reverse reference on the parent table, the related whatevers, right? The formula for that is a ref rows, something, this, that, and whatever. Okay, all I've got to do is copy that formula and then change the first bit, which is the name of the table that the records come from the original table to the slice that I just made. And when I do this, create a new virtual column on my parent, that's the active whatevers, right? And so what's going on there is the virtual column is creating a ref rows, but instead of pulling all of the records from that original table, it's pulling it from the slice that you created, where the slice is only the active stuff, right? And in this way, I'm able to create an extremely efficient system that allows me to get this sort of derivative, this sort of filtered data that's specific to a record that I'm looking at. But I don't have to brute force this. I don't have to say, select for me the order details where and parent ID equals this row dot parent ID and status equals active. Like, I don't have to brute force it like that, because what I'm doing when I do this sort of data subset thing is I'm shifting the computation load from one place to a couple of places. I'm taking the idea of the separating out the active and the inactive records, and I'm moving that computation into the slice, which happens during the sync process. And the formula that I'm using there is, like status equals active. So it's a simple equality. So it's lightning fast like that. It processes really, really fast. And then ref rows also is one of the most efficient systems inside AppSheet. It takes one pass over the data to get its list. So you see where I'm going with this? Like, the slice is really efficient. The ref rows is really efficient. By combining the two together, I can keep this efficiency in my system while allowing me to have this sort of crazy, like, filtered where it's like, and this, and this, and this, and this, but I don't have to brute force that. Handy skill, I call it data subsets. You'll hear me refer to this all the time. The next question comes from David Bolognese. Love your name, buddy. He says, hello, Matt. Is it possible to customize aspects of the UX, like the row color, bold text, etc., such as the related something's header or the group by headers? Basically, all the header labels. I find that I would like to point out certain parts of the app better, but they all look pretty standard and similar. And do you have any tricks or anything to help make this easier? So largely the answer to this is no. When you're strictly referring to like the labels that are above column names or those you can't affect. When it comes to grouping, right? Like if I have a table view and I'm grouping something, okay, the thing that you're grouping by is a column value. You can apply a formatting rule to the column value, all that you want. And you can even base that formatting rule so that it only works in a certain view. Like you can throw context view equals whatever. And then like that formatting rule is restricted to just that view. So like, you know what I mean? Like maybe I only want some sort of formatting thing to apply on this specific detail view. Well, then I can hard code that inside my formula for my formatting rule with an and statement saying and context view equals whatever, and then whatever my other criteria is. As far as adjusting row colors, man, I know I'm not the only person that's asked for that years ago, being able to like say, I want the whole row to be green, like the background of the row. They've yet to enable anything like that. The best that you can do is like throw an icon on there or, don't use an icon and just leave the highlighting thing. So it's just like a circle dot. But like, not really. You can, one of the tricks that I like to throw in whenever I'm trying to do something like this and I run into where it's just not working for me. If you're on a detail view, right? Okay. One of the options for the detail view is you can turn off the labels. So that removes the labels, which are like the small, tiny little gray text that you can't change. It removes those, but sometimes, you need the labels that tells the person what is this thing that we're looking at. And so whenever I run into that, you can kind of sometimes make, like if you add extra show columns into the mix, and use the show columns for your labels, you can apply formatting rules to the show columns. So I can make it big and bold and, whatever. It really kind of does. It's really kind of limited. If you turn on the preview features so that you can use Markdown or HTML, you could then create like a summary long text field where it's just like a giant concatenate where you're saying concatenate together for me this column, this column, this column, this column, this column. But in the middle of all of that, like you throw in some text that is the label. So let's say I wanted to create a summary thing for my order, right? And I want this nice little thing up at the top where it's like customer, the customer's name, the date, and then the total, and the status, and the status. But I don't want to show the columns. And I want the labels to be bold, right? Okay, the only way you could get that is by using the HTML feature for the long text, and then you could, or Markdown. It's the special formatting is what I'm getting at. And then create a concatenate that throws in the label with the special formatting things that you need on it with the value that you're looking for. Largely, mate, the biggest restriction in AppSheet is the UX. Like, that is the hardest thing for people to accept and like get over. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of limitations with AppSheet, and one of the biggest and most restrictive of those is the UX. It's very difficult to get this to kind of look like what you want. You know what I mean? Like, an AppSheet app looks like an AppSheet app. You know what I mean? It's difficult to make it not look like an AppSheet app. Now, when these new things come out, with the new desktop UX comes out, man, major upgrade. When the new HTML thing is fully supported, like, that's going to be a game changer, because then you can basically make your own HTML or Markdown like detail page and just not show any of the columns and just show your detail thing that you made. But that's, in the future. So I hope that answered your question. I know it is kind of a ranty, long little bit, but let me know if you have any other further questions, or if you come up with any clever little workarounds for solving these little problems. Let me know so I can share them with people. Everybody wants to know. All right, that's all I got for this. Let's move on to the AppSheet news. All right, so what's going on in the AppSheet world? Not much. It's kind of industry standard, right? There's a lot of progress that's being made with the desktop, the new desktop experience. Every day there seems to be more things that are supported, but largely not a whole lot happened this week. The one thing that did happen was the new support UX experience. I don't know if you've gone over there and if you've had to reach out to support now, but there's a new, it's more akin to what you're used to finding for Google services, where there's kind of like a multi-stage process where it's like, first you describe your problem, and then they try and feed you support articles, like documentation articles. And I don't know, I haven't really dug into it. Maybe they will start throwing things from the community, answers from the community. I don't even know. But like, they'll throw you documentation at you, hoping that maybe this would lead you in the direction. And if not, then you can go and move on. And they've got now a live chat support feature. So I know a lot of people are really excited about that. Hopefully that gives people a lot of assist, a lot of, I need that answer now. Like, hopefully that solves a lot of problems for people, and they can get past a lot of these initial barriers that they're facing that are probably easily solved. It's just they don't know the word for the thing that they're trying to do. And if they could just get somebody on the line and they could describe it, this person's gonna be like, oh yeah, you're talking about list dereference. Go look that up and you're good to go. Like, that's usually all they ever need. That's the AppSheet world. That's all the news. Hey, do you know what time it is? Time for the deep dive. What are we doing? Quick charts. All right, so quick charts. That's what we're doing on this first one. So last week, it took a lot longer than I thought. I had a lot of stuff planned. Like, if you saw my outline for that deep dive section, it was like, I'm going to cover all of this. I had like 20 things I wanted to go over. I got through one. Took a lot longer than I was thinking to explain how to get all that little setup bits in place. Because when you're working with Quick Chart, you have to prepare your data ahead of time, right? Like, if I'm trying to make a line chart and I want to include several lines inside that chart, I have to create each of those data sets for each of the lines ahead of time. I got to come up with the labels. I got to come up with, right. So all of that took a little longer, and I was thinking, last week. And so what I'm going to start with this week is I went through and I looked at all of the charts that are available over on Quick Chart, and I picked out, there's a handful of these things that are really, really easy to implement, meaning they don't need any of that. They need some, but they don't need anywhere near the level of preparation that the line chart needed, that you'll see some of the other ones need. Like, there are some of these charts that are just drop a value inside the thing and you're good to go. So I'm going to go over those right now. I call these the quick and easy ones. I will make this sample app where I'm going to show how to implement these. I will make this available probably on Tuesday. It's usually when they go out. All right. So what are we doing with these quick and easy ones, right? So if we go to quickchart.io and go to the gallery, okay, so if we look through some of these, and I pick some of these out for you, like this one right here, this Sparkline one, if you look at the code that's necessary in order to get this guy going, look at this. There's literally nothing involved here, like a list of numbers. That's all I need is a list of numbers. All right, so if I wanted to implement this, right, all I got to do is have this list of numbers somewhere. So if I go back to my app and we look at one of these stores, so I've got this list of monthly sales, right? Okay, now like if I go and I look at the store table, so since I've prepared some of this data ahead of time, I have these lists of prices for 2022, or I'm sorry, 2020 and 2021. So this is literally that list of numbers that I need. So if I wanted to create a Sparkline for any of these, right? What am I going to do? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, like, this is going to be the 2020 sales Sparkline, right? Okay. Come here. So all of these are just they're all a giant concatenate. So if I come back to this chart, grab this code, go back here, and drop it in here. All right. Now wrap everything inside double quotes and close my concatenate. All right. That's that. And then the one little thing we got to do is you got to remember to put the front part. If you go back to Quick Chart's main page, there's this little bit of code that you got to throw at the beginning there. That's really kind of the key to remember. So if I come back to my app and throw this here up at the beginning. So Quick Chart, do this. Oh, and don't forget you need to encode URL, your concatenate. And that is if I just like left that like that, all of these Sparklines would be the same because I didn't change out the values that were inside this thing. So, okay, I need to change this to an image because it's an image. Now, if I look at it, here's my Sparkline. And if I go to the next one, right, they're all the same because I didn't change the values. Okay, so let's change the values. If I come in here, this is the thing that I want to change. So again, the easiest order of operations for like inserting this dynamic stuff into the chart code, right, is go to the chart editor, go to the sandbox here, copy the code, come in here, drop it inside, and then when you're ready to go, find the part that you want to get rid of, highlight it, hit the delete key, drop a double quote, drop some enter lines, and open another quote. Like, all right, now everything between this and these like empty spaces that I put, that's where I need to put in whatever my dynamic data is. Make sure that you get your comma in place. So what is my thing? I want this to be my 2020 sales prices. So I'm just going to insert my column that I've already have prepared. Kind of clean it up a little bit. Wait for it to validate. Make sure I didn't break it. Right? I always like to make sure I didn't break it. And then check it out. Oh, look at that. We got a Sparkline. Oh, look at that. It's dynamic. Oh, don't you like it when things work? So then, like, I could come here to my stores, right? And, like, I could change this to a table, and I could make this Sparkline the first thing that I see. And now, there you go. A nice little inline Sparkline chart. Very easily made. Not a whole lot of whatever. The only thing you got to do is have that list of values. That's the only thing you need. You know, 4 ways from Sunday to make a list of values in AppSheet. So that's one quick, easy chart that you can make. The Sparkline. All right, now let's go back to, hold on, let me get back here. Let's go back to quick chart. If we go back to the gallery, so that's one easy one. There's another easy one. If we come down here, the progress bar. Look at the code that's involved with the progress bar. It's literally just a value. Like, literally you just got to drop a value inside here. Okay, so like, let's go back over here. So one of the things that I included inside the data that's inside this sample app, if we go and we look at, is I have these construction progress projections, and then I have construction progress summaries. So one's the projection of what's supposed, of the timeline for the building of the store, the construction of the store. The other one is the actual progress of the construction of the store. The purpose of these data points is for something I'm going to do next week, where I'm going to go over how to create a Gantt chart. Oh yeah. For now, I'm going to use this progress summary to create a progress summary of what's the progress of the store. So if I go to this progress summary, and I have this column inside here for the percentage of the progress, right? So that is one of the things that you have to keep in mind when you're working with Quick Chart is sometimes there are certain data, like you do have to prepare your data ahead of time, almost all the time. Like you need the right data point in order for it to work, right? Like, okay. So I've got this ability now where if I reference connect these to my site, my store, and then let's see, construction phase, start date, end date, progress, status, and the ID. So this will be unique ID. Mark that as that. I don't want to show this. Mark that as the key. Get rid of this thing that it created. Call it good. Okay, what don't you like? Oh, did I spell unique ID wrong? Yeah. Unique ID. My bad. Okay. Now that we've got this construction progress that's reference connected here, so I'm going to take a few moments and I'm going to clean up this table, make it look clean, right? So they're already sorted, but I want to sort them by their start date. Well, I'm going to sort them by the phase because yeah, it's like phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's see. I want like phase, start date, end date, and the progress. I'm going to make it narrow. Okay, now what I'm really going to do is I'm going to take this progress bar. I'm going to take this progress value that's here, and I'm going to turn that into a progress bar. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this record because I want the progress bar on this child record. So I'm going to come here, and on this record, I'm going to create a new virtual column that I'm going to call progress summary progress bar. Nice and simple, right? Okay, so what am I doing? So I need to go, first off, I need to get this starting little bit that I need for my chart. Come here and put that at the beginning. Okay, then I need to encode URL, concatenate. Okay, I go back to my chart and get the code. So here's the code for my progress bar. Copy that, paste it in here. I'm gonna wrap this in double quotes, close my concatenate, close my encode URL, wait for it to validate. Happy days. All right, now highlight the value that I want to change, hit delete, drop a double quote, hit some enters, drop another double quote. All right, come up here, do my comma bit. Now, the value I want to use is the progress, but I can't just use this. I need this to be the, can I use text with progress bar, with the progress columns? I'm going to look really quick. Oh, not text icon. No, not text. Can I use price, date, time? Does this accept percentages? It looks like it does. Perfect. Awesome. Because it'll put the percentage sign on there for me. Actually, I think this needs to be a number. Yeah, this needs to be a number. Sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. So I need to take this times 100. We can just call that good. Because the progress is a decimal. Don't forget. Progress is a decimal. All right, so here's this. Change this to the image. Save it. Then we can come back and we can see if I insert that is the inline for, not the monthly sales. Sorry, wrong table. Come down here to my progress summaries and insert for this the progress bar as the first thing. Hey, look at that. What do you know? Quick, simple, easy. Nothing to it. That is the progress bar. All right, so if we go back and we keep looking at these charts, we can find there's some other ones in here that are actually really, really simple, such as this QR code. If you look at what's involved with the QR code, that's it. Like, there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can there's a whole bunch of different services that you can use to generate a QR code. Here's another one that's dumb simple. Look at this little thing. quickchart.io/QR text equals insert your text. Done. So like, let's say I wanted a QR code that would allow somebody to scan the thing and it would open directly to the chart, to the store details. So what do I want? Okay, here's a good one. I want a QR code that will generate a clickable URL that'll bring someone to this store details. Then I could like print that URL and like post it somewhere, and they could take their phone and beep, scan that, and it would bring them right to this detail page. Okay. The first thing that I'm going to do is, because I don't really remember the specific formula I need to use, is if you go to my website and you go to the blog, I have this how to create clickable links to a specific record. Go to this, and inside here, there's the formula you need. That's it right there. There you go. That's all I needed. But if this blog post goes over all of the ins and outs and the things that you need to do in order to get what you need. I talk about like what each parameter is inside the system, how to find it, what you need to look out for. I got some pro tips inside here. But anyways, this is a really quick, easy way for you to come and get the formula that you need in order to run some sort of thing to where I'm going to have a link in an email, in a text message, in a QR code, whatever, that somebody can click on, and it's going to take them to a specific row in a specific view for your app. How do we do it? There's the formula. Go back to my app. First thing we need to do is we need to generate this image. So it's the same thing, right? Go to the place you want to make the image. So I'm going to put this on the store table. Add a new virtual column. We're going to call this store QR. And it's the same thing. You got to have that QR code. Well, here we go. We can just come here and just copy this. Come in here. I can close that. Come in here. Ooh, I don't want to close it. I need that formula. Drop my thing. Okay, so the QR code, right? So get rid of the text part. Wrap this in quotes. Drop an ampersand. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, I wonder, do I need to encode this? Can be a URL or any other string. I'm not going to, I haven't tried this, so I'm just going to see what happens here. So I'm going to take my formula. And my formula is a hyperlink. I'm not sure if the hyperlink, oh, we'll see. We'll just see. All right, the thing you got to do in order to do this is you got to get your app URL. The easiest way to do this is to open your app in a browser. So like I'm just going to save this in a broken state so I can open my app, come back to my formula. Okay, so like up here, you just need the everything. Let's see, what did I say? Everything all up to the and page equals whatever part. So I'm here and it's everything all the way up into this page equals whatever, right? Okay. And I guess it's probably I need to exclude the group as well, to be honest. So it's all of this little front bit up here. You with me? So like the start, this little code bit, and the name of your app, blah, 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 all of that. That's what you need. Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. So I'm going to copy this, come back here, and that goes right into that first part. Just like that. Bam. All right. Now, what's the ID column that I want to go to? Well, it's the store ID. So I'm just going to drop that here. What's the name of the table that I'm trying to take people to? Okay. So that's like this value back here, right? So it's stores. And what's the name of the view that I want to take them to? Well, that's this view right here, stores underscore detail. Stores underscore detail. Stores underscore detail. Stores underscore detail. Perfect. And then the visible link text. I'm not sure if the visible link text is not necessary in this one because it's going to be a QR code. So I'm going to get rid of the hyperlink aspect and just leave the concatenate part. And if I save this and I change this to an image, we come back, that should be a QR code now. If all things went well, cool. And if I take my phone now and I open up a QR code scanner app, okay, bear with me here. And I scan that. Yep. All right. So it did that. Looks like it's missing the last part of the. Did I forget a comma? I think I forgot a comma. Yeah. Did I? Nope. Okay. Well, it didn't open. It opened the app, but it didn't open it to the page that I wanted it to, the page or the row that I wanted it to go to. And that might be. Let's check and see what's going on. So here's the resulting thing. Yeah, so the problem that I had is that the link that I got when I scanned it, it didn't include anything after that hashtag. Yeah, in fact, it stopped. It's everything before that is what I got on my URL. I wonder if I have to encode, like, isn't a hashtag, do you have to encode a hashtag? Like that's not a special character. I'm looking inside the comments now. And does anybody know, do you have to URL encode a hashtag? Is that a special character? I would think that this would already be done that way. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? No. All right. Let me dig in. Make sure that there's no errors in the formula. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this concatenate to the outside. I'm going to take this and I'm going to revert this to double quotes because that's what I'm using throughout the system. I'm going to get rid of this ampersand thing. Hamlet says, I think you have to encode it. Okay. All right. Well, you know what I'll do then is, like, okay, you see how I got like all of this encode URL, encode URL, encode URL? Okay. Like, what's going on? Hold on. Let me try and scan that again. It does have, but it's at a weird angle. Oh, the fun of debugging. But like if I open this, if I go to that, right? Okay, that's this. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope. Where's my scanner? Go back to my scan. There we go. If I scan it, yeah, see? So it's like, it's giving me everything just before the hashtag inside the QR. You know what I mean? Like I got all of that, but like it's just up into that little code. Interesting. Maybe, let's see. So if we go back here, so it can be any URL or any text string. You know? Okay. All right. Maybe this does need to be on the outside. Because the link is this, but this is the image. Maybe that's what's going on here. So like, I'll just I'll do it dirty. Just do it dirty. Right? Concatenate all of that, concatenate all of that. So we now have this text and then all of this, that should be a thing. Maybe that changes the QR code that's in the middle. Let's see. If this doesn't work, I'll move on. Nope, it didn't work. All right, I'm going to have to debug this and figure it out. One last thing that I will try is encode URL. Wrap the whole thing in encode URL again, even though it's already encoded a couple of times. We'll see if that works. If not, moving on. All right. Scroll down. Yeah, see, that's very different. That QR code looks very different. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a much bigger link. Yeah. And if I click on that, it takes me right to the detail page for, you can't really read it, but you know what I mean? Like, if you look at the chart, if you look at that chart and you look at this chart, they're the same one. Yay! So, that's how you can do a QR code. The key there is you got to encode the whole URL. So I'm betting, like, I could probably just do this. Like, I might go through and adjust the formula inside that blog so that the encode URL is wrapped around the outside of the concatenate instead. Since that seems to be something that you have to do. You have to encode the URL that you already got. Weird. Okay, let's save this and see if that broke what I just got working. Because that's usually how it goes, right? It's like, oh, I'm just going to clean this up. All right, no, it's good. All right, cool. That is how you can do a QR code directly to the detail view of whatever it is that you're looking for. That's another quick and dirty, easy, quick. It's quick. Oh, man. All right, so if we come back here and we go back to the charts and we keep looking, there's one more that I'm going to go over, and that's this radial gauge. If you look at the code that's necessary to create the radial gauge, you'll look in here and there's more involved, sure. But in reality, the only thing that really matters is two things. You've got, like, what is the actual value that you're doing? And what's the range? Like, what's the start and the end of your thing that you're dealing with? There's some other bits that you can deal with, but like really, those are the only two things that matter. Again, this is another one of those where it's like, just drop the value inside here and you're good to go. Just like your progress bar. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to make another progress bar for the progress summaries. If I come in here and like, I'm just going to copy this front little part here to create another one. And this will be progress summary radial gauge. Can't spell gauge. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. How do you spell gauge? Is it UA? AU. AUG. There it is. All right. So there's that little bit. All right. I'm going to go to my chart, copy the code, come back, paste it, wrap it in double quotes, close my concatenate and my encode URL, wait for it to validate, good to go. All right. Now I'm going to find the value that I want to replace, highlight it, hit delete, throw in a double quote, throw in some extra lines, throw in a double quote. All right. Come up here, put my comma. Now this is a place where I need my data. And so I want the progress times 100 is what I'm looking for. Wait for it to validate. Okay. Hit done. Make sure it's an image. Hit done, hit done, hit done. And then if we go and we look, these records, if I come here to this view and I add in the radial gauge and move it right next to the progress bar, we've now got two versions of the progress bar, right? We've got whatever this small thing is, and whatever the small thing is, 100%, 100%, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, buddy. Don't you like it when things work? Like, you know what I mean? This is a nice little thing. Yeah, and you can change the colors that you wanted to work. Like if you go and look at that code for this column, like it's got this get gradient fill helper where, like, you know what I mean? If you want to get all kinds of fun and complicated and whatever with making it look the way that you want with like, oh, it starts with this color and then it progresses to this color because those are our colors. You know what I mean? Like these are our branding colors, you know, purple and green or whatever. You could do that totally here. You know what I mean? You've got a space for the track color, and there's a whole bunch more that you can do on top of this as well. That's the thing with Quick Chart is that like once you start figuring out how to do the little bits that are kind of complicated on the inside, like it's far easier. You start realizing, whoa, this is way more powerful. Like if I wanted to throw a label up at the top, if I wanted to throw a box around this, if I wanted to throw words on the side, if I wanted to throw an annotation with like a color spike that's like pointing to a point in the radial gauge that then has this little thing that's got a box with some words in it that's like emergency cutoff point. You know what I mean? Like you can make absolutely insanely complex and customized views using not views but charts using Quick Chart. And so this is one of the things. This is definitely a thing that is worth figuring out. It's worth getting, like, you know, all of this inside your tool belt. If we go back, I think that's all the quick and easy ones that I was going over. Because, like, here's another gauge chart. Like, this one's a little more involved, but, like, ultimately, even with this one, it's still kind of basically the same. It's kind of relatively straightforward and easy. Like, there's only a couple of bits that you got to change inside this code in order to get it to work. If I come up here, like, you've got what is the text that you need to use. So, like, you know, they have a line break and a 12. And then you've got the data set. So, like, what's the first part and what's the second part? You've got what are the colors if you wanted to adjust them. And then you've got, I think that's the actual value. Let's see, where's the 12? There's something inside here that actually does. So this is the label that you see. And then you've got, oh yeah, this other label here, open email, you know what I mean? Like change this to be, you know, whatever you wanted it to be. So relatively straightforward, like not crazy complex. Like you don't have to do all of the stuff for the line chart. This one's fairly straightforward, a little more, but fairly straightforward. If we come back here and like, if you wanted to get really crazy, like you start looking at this one and like, this is where you start getting into like, there's a lot going on here. You know what I mean? And I will eventually get to a point where I'm going to start covering how to do stuff like this, how to make all these crazy things. But I think those are the ones that were basic. If I look through the rest of these, yeah, all the rest of these were like really crazy. Yeah, they're getting nuts. So those are all of the quick and easy ones that you can set up. That was a Sparkline, a QR code, a radial gauge, a progress bar. I was thinking about going over how to do a like one of these graph viz things. This is also like, if you look at what's involved in order to make this work, like that's incredibly simple. It's almost like that QR code where it's like dumb simple. Like, look, this is the URL to make this. Like, that's nuts. You know what I mean? Like how easy that is. Like you just look at this. If we just come inside here and we kind of pick this apart, what is this saying? So it's like main, and there's a forward arrow, and then like, so all this thing is doing, like the way that this thing makes its what's connected to what is literally through like these little arrows that it has inside this little thing, and they're separated with a semicolon. Like that, look, that is all it takes in order to create that. That's nuts. Do you know what I mean? Like this is this. That's freaking nuts. And like, if you look at this, right? Like the main is connected to parse. So if we look at this, main is connected to parse, right? And parse is connected to execute. Main, parse, and execute. So there's one chain. We have main to init. Main to init. We have main to cleanup. Main to cleanup. We have main to printf. Main to printf. So like literally the only thing that you got to do in order to get this graph viz thing to work is like, you've got this little bit of code that you throw up in the top where it's like, you know, quickchart.io, graph viz, you know, defining what it is. And then it's just like, this thing's connected to that. This is connected to that. This is connected to that. This is connected to that. And that's it. And like, just literally run through your chains of like, this is connect, like all the different connections that you have. And then this thing figures out what it's supposed to do in order to make the image look like what it's supposed to look like. Like there's not that graph, that image over there. Like there's no heavy lifting for me to do. Like this blows my mind. You know what I mean? Like that incredibly complex, interconnected web of whatever's going on there is made just by me saying, this is connected to that, this to that, this to that, this to that, this to that, this. And the system just comes up with a chain. Quick chart, man. This service is amazing. All right, that's all I'm going to cover for this one, because again, these things seem to be they take a little longer to explain. I get a little verbose sometimes. You know, it is how it is. So that's all I'm going to cover on this one. In the next week, I'm going to go over how you can take the line chart app that I made last week and how I can take all of the preparation stuff that I did for that. Like, you know, I had to prepare all of the data sets ahead of time. Now that heavy lifting is done and all of those things, all those data points and everything are there, really, that's the hard part. That's the heavy lifting of getting this system to work. Getting that into place, changing that chart from a line graph to a bar chart or to a pie graph or to a donut. Like, there's not that much that you have to change in order to get these to visualize in a different way. The hard part is getting the data in the individual data points that you need, getting that list of numbers. Like, that's the hardest part, the thing that takes all the work. Once you get that done, you can get really far really fast. And like, you want to talk about wowing your customers, So that's what I'm going to go over next week. And then at some point, and then the week after that, I'll go over how to do a Gantt chart. And that's basically, and then after that, I'll do, like, I'm coming up with this schedule. Like, this month is quick chart, I guess. So at the end of the month, I'd have a plan on what I want to do is I want to do a video that goes over the common pitfalls people are falling into with working with quick chart, connecting it to AppSheet. So if you run into any problems when you're working on this, you can't figure something out, let me know what the pitfalls that you're falling into, because I want to know what they are so I can A, get the solution, and B, tell everybody. I want to have a nice single long video, you know what I mean, where it's like, these are all the problems you run into. Here's all the solutions. So let me know in the comments below. All right, that's all I'm going on for this one. Let's move on to live chat questions. Get them in the comments if you got them. Boy, I freaking love quick chart. It's so good, man. Oh man, you can do some amazing stuff. It's awesome. All right. Thanks to all the people showing up here in the live chat. I appreciate it. I see there's no questions, but perhaps they will pop up here in the next few moments. Let's see. And New Biz Veterinaria was talking, had a comment earlier saying, it seems to me that as long as you use concatenate and everything is text, you don't need to use encode URL. Well, no, yeah, you do. There's something inside that text string that was causing that URL to break. So I'm not sure what it was. Probably, if I was to go through and look, since I have this still open, if I come here and I go to the QR code, like if I look at this test now, yeah, so you can see, yeah, all of this little, like the forward slashes, they were encoded to something else. I think the 23 is the hashtag. So yeah, definitely it was the hashtag that was causing that problem, because when I scanned it before, it gave me everything up to that. It's interesting that you can encode a URL that's already been encoded, and it encodes it again, and it doesn't cause a problem. Like, that's wild. That blows my mind. Wow, man. All right, whatever. Hamlet, you nailed it with that the percentage 23, the encoding of the hashtag. Nailed it. You can never encode too much. Hamlet, you got it, buddy. Yeah. I wonder if you what happens if you encode and encode and encode and encode and encode? Like, I want to try it now. I want to see what happens. Does it work? Does it cause a problem? So like if I encode 1, 2, 3, I'm going to come over here. We give this a test. Oh, look at this craziness. Is this going to work? Oh, let's see. Okay. Totally. That worked. All right. The encoded URL worked. And if I scan it, that's a hot mess. Is that going to work? Yeah, no, the system doesn't recognize that as a hyperlink because there's too much craziness going on. But if I select all of that and copy it and go to a web browser and open a new one and drop what I pasted and try and open that, no, it doesn't. Absolutely not. So you can encode too much. You can't encode too much. So Don't nest in codes, evidently. One is good enough. One's good enough. Don't need to do more. I just like testing things. It's fun. See if you can break it. Anubis Veterinaria has another comment. Says, I have no doubt about something. Not sure. Do you know if when using a formula inside the display name field, we would have to assume that the performance time will increase as if the formula is running in a virtual column? Yes, absolutely. That's one of the things that if your app is starting to run slow, those are the places to look for the problems, right? You've got display names, because they're only calculated when you're going to that page, right? Like when I'm here and then like I'm on this detail, I'm not on a detail page, right? But as soon as I click on this, like when I'm going to the view, that's when all of the detail, the display name formulas are calculating. And if I have anything that's editable, the description field is being displayed. And so if there's a formula in that's calculating as well as any formatting rules that I have. When I'm coming here, they're being calculated as well. So if I've got some really heavy lift formulas that are like, select for me all the, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not what you want to do. Virtual columns, display names, description names. Description you can largely get away with having some monsters inside as long as it's not quick editable. And formatting rules. There's a couple more. Action, the action conditions, and the conditions for a view. These things are all of the things that largely contribute to when I'm clicking on a view to go look at something and it takes forever. Like it pause and then it goes. Like that, all those 6 things are contributing to that. Yeah, good question there, Anubis. Yeah, that's easy, something easy to overlook. Man, I love this little Sparkline thing. It's dope looking. It is really cool looking. I'm just like sitting here playing around with the little app, little QR codes. Oh, that's just so much fun. Like you can even like, oh look, you can even see the chart in line too. Oh, that's pretty dope. Oh yeah, and like, okay, let me start playing around a little bit. What's this card look like? Like, not the Sparkline, but if I do like the monthly sales. Okay, so that's you can do the inline. What? I didn't know you could do that. Did you know you could do that? Oh, that's dope. It's not it is clickable too. Oh, that's freaking cool. Oh man, that's freaking cool. Okay. All right, I'm digging that. I'm like, what can I put something fun down here? No, but this image space, wow, you can put all kinds of stuff inside here. I didn't know that you could put an inline view like that. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Okay, I can kind of get behind that. All right, we put the chart there. We can put the Sparkline there. We can do my summaries. Oh, that's pretty dope. That could be useful. So that's a table view, right? So this inline view of my related progress summaries, that's this view, but shown in the detail, in the card view inside this large space here. Oh, you can even scroll inside it? Oh my God. Can you scroll? Nope. You can't horizontal scroll, but you can vertical scroll inside here. This could be really helpful. Like you could have just like this, where I've got some nice little images inside here or whatever. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Yeah, you never know what you find when you just kind of poke around and see what happens. Let's see here. Hamlet has a question. Matt, best practices for having a virtual column field on a dashboard to show aggregate of the filtered data. Yeah, don't do it. There you go. That's the best. I know you're like, that's not what I want to hear. Like, I know. But that's largely the answer. The problem that you have there, I did a video about this a couple of months ago now. The problem that you run into there, Hamlet, is a matter of delay. Like, okay, so the problem that you run into is you've got an enhanced dashboard. Let me get an enhanced dashboard sample app on the screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, there we go. All right, so like you've got this enhanced dashboard, right? And so what you're hoping to accomplish is I want to, like I've filtered this for roofing metal that's unbilled. And now I want to know what's the sum of all of that. And I'd like to have that like right here somewhere. The problem with that is that it's a matter of delay. Like if you implement this, it's easily implemented. All you got to do is go to your control box table, which is probably your user table, and add a new virtual column that says the slice, whatever column you're looking for, right? Because the slice is all of the filtered records. And so if I get the order total from the slice and wrap that into a sum, then it's the sum of everything that's inside that slice. The problem is that if I did that, it's a really easy thing to implement, but the problem you run into is, in fact, here, I'll just show you really quick. So if I go to my user table, hold on, if I come in here and I say, this is my dashboard job entries. So if I copy this, come to my user table, create a new virtual column, and I say sum, the name of the slice, and then the name of the entries. What am I looking for? I'm looking for, let's do the total cost here. Okay, so that's all I need to do in order to get that formula to work, right? And then this is good to go. So if I leave that way, and you look at this, when it comes back, oh yeah, and I throw this inside the control box so you can see it. I'll put it right at the top so it's easy to see. So there you go. Now I'll save this so it's all propagated and happy. This is actually that sample app. So if you wanted to head on over to my profile really quick and open this, this is that sample app. Like I'm just messing with that one. Anyways, so you got your total here, right? So this is the sum of all of these over here. But like, watch what happens now. Like, okay, so it's $15.94. And if I turn this off, it's still $15.94. Wait for it. Now it changed. Now watch. Let's say I'm going to implement, I want to change this to that. Notice this hasn't changed yet. Hasn't changed. Changed. Come down here. Wall protection. Hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. Changed. Do it again. Notice hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. Changed. Do you see where I'm going with this? The problem is that this sum column is not responsive. It waits for the background final sync that happens. Like I'm modifying my user record when I'm changing the values inside this control box. And so that's one edit. And as soon as that edit goes back, the system returns with a background sync. That background sync gives us this value. You could implement some system to where you can, if you push an update on your user record, like I make the change and then if I did like a quick update on that record, it would update that value. But since I'm doing quick edits, I can't kick off a secondary action. There's not like a form save event that I'm going through that would allow me to initiate another action where I can say, cool, in the background, kick the user so that it updates that thing again. Can't do that. So that's largely the difficulty that you're going to face with trying to implement some sort of sum on the control box layer. Now, that doesn't mean that, this is a lost cause. It just means that you will you will face this sort of lag behind for the sum column. Now, if you're fine with that, like if you can work around that in whatever, then there you go. Happy days. Boop, done. Moving on. For me, that doesn't work because for me, I'm going to, if I was using this, I'd go in there, I'd make the change, and then I'd look at the thing and I'd be like, what the hell? That didn't change. That's not the right number. And then when it did change, I'd be like, well, that's janky. I don't want to use this. Nice little bubble. So, the thing that I would suggest, right? There's a couple of different ways that you could come up with the total, right? So one of the things is I put in this donut chart, and the donut chart has, when I hover above that section, it gives me the total, right? So the 1548, that is the total of just the build thing. So if I go to build, wait for it, 1548. So I mean, there is one method to where I could get it, and that's responsive. You know what I mean? And you could make this whatever you wanted. Another thing I could do is on this table, I could create a grouping, and on the grouping, I can be sum total cost. You know what I mean? And then I save it. When it comes back, now why isn't this why didn't it group? Oh, by row number, that'd be why. All right, we do it by construction type. There we go. You know what I mean? And now here you go. Now I've got my total number, right? Just in a different place. That's really kind of all you got. The problem that you're constantly fighting against with this sort of thing is that lag. Is that when I push the thing, it doesn't change the value immediately. Yeah. So, no real good answers. Yeah. Let me put my sample app back to how it was. Now undo all the things that I just did to break this app. And it's not broken, but I had that in there at one point, and it was causing confusion with people. So that's why I leave it out. There we go. All right. So that is how, those are the best tips that I could give you for what can I do in order to get that sort of system to work better. There is no good answer. Back into the comments now. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's see. Yeah, Hamlet. That's exactly what Hamlet was commenting about. Is it always takes a while to calculate. He says, and I've just been hiding the values until it finishes calculating. Yeah, by using another formula to check when the changes have saved to the back end. See, but that's what I'm talking about. There is no happy, good, easy way to get the thing that you're wanting to do in that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've learned, whenever I come across something like that, I'm looking for a different way to come up with that answer. That's the best advice that I have for you there. Sorry, there's nothing better, Hamlet. Room 001 asks, can we create a link to Google Maps from a location QR code? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the QR code, right, is just a graphic representation of a string that you feed it. That's all you're doing. And so all you'd have to do in order to get that sort of thing to work, easiest way that I would do it would be I would find some way to open the lat long that I'm looking at inside Google Maps by itself and see if that is somehow encoded inside the URL. Because then it's just a matter of changing the URL. I just see if there's got to be some way where you can create a link to Google Maps at this point. Guarantee that's a thing. And it's just a matter of creating the URL, and then you take the URL and you feed that to that QR code bit. And then that's rendered as a QR code. And then when somebody scans it, they get the URL that you did. That's the rub. Hamlet, anything else? What is this? Sadness. That's pretty. Hamlet comments in here that we really need a scorecard chart type. What do you mean? Scorecard chart type. Score. So if I come over here and I'm like scorecard chart. And we just look at some of these images that are out there. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean, man? Now, if you think about this, like creating something like this using using Quick Chart, like this is just a combination of a whole bunch of charts. Do you know what I mean? Like if I wanted to make this chart that I'm looking at right here using Quick Chart, like the thing that I would do is I would actually combine a few things together. I would first create each of these charts individually so that I have the individual code bit. Like I would have like a virtual column that is the chart by itself. Then, like, so I would have all of these different charts. Then I would create another column that's an SVG. It's an SVG that then combines these images together in this format. Because with an SVG, I can say, like, here's an image, make this image, like here's an image, here's the URL to that image, and make that image this big. And then I can be like, cool, put that here on the canvas. And so I can say, size that first chart to this. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the big one. See what I mean? Like, you can do so much. You can do so much. Let's see. So Hamlet's clarifying for a scorecard. He's talking about one with big numbers and the arrow showing the change. Give me a URL to an image, mate. Let me like drop a link to something that you're talking about. Because like any of these sorts of things like this, do you know what I mean? Like any of these sorts of images that I'm like, I just did a Google for scorecard chart, and like any of these you could make through a combination of Quick Chart to get you like the small individual little whatever, and then maybe another Quick Chart or an SVG combining them all together. But like you could make, I'm not sure if you could do something crazy. Like, yeah, you could probably do something crazy like this. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, you could totally do something like that. Like this Quick Chart you could use that. The SVG is probably far easier for this one because it's so simple. Like if I was going to do something easy like this to where it's not necessarily like an actual chart, it's just like a graphic representation of data. An SVG is easier for that. And like you can just search for SVG online builder. You know what I mean? And like there's 4 billion of these, and just go to one of these. And like this is a place where you can just, not that one. That one sucks. I don't know why I always go to that one. There's one of these that's really good. I can't remember which one it is. And it's never the first one that pops up. Here it is. This one. This one is great. Editor.method.ac. This is a great SVG builder. Because it's like it's like you're drawing. Do you know what I mean? Like you just draw in your little things, whatever you're wanting to do it. I mean, it's kind of like paint in a way. And then you can come over here and you can view the source, and like this is the code that generates that image. And you just grab this code, drop it inside your app, fiddle with it a little bit to make it work. And now you got an SVG. Now you got an image. There you go. Happy days. Done. Yeah, SVG. That's the thing with AppSheet. You know what I mean? Like you've got the ability to generate an SVG, creating your own dynamic pseudo chart image, right? Or if you want to like, and then Quick Charts has a whole bunch of really powerful natively inbuilt chart things. And like you saw what was possible if you go to quickchart.io and go to the chart gallery and just start looking through some of the things that are in there, mate. It's insane what's possible. Yeah. Oh yeah, like using a gallery view or a card view with like a scorecard type of thing. Could look very cool. That's the, you know, the biggest downside, not downside, like the hardest part of working with AppSheet is the graphics. Like, you know, you can't customize colors and I can't, you know what I mean? Like graphically, it's very restricted. But then you bring in things like this and it's like, all right, well, I can't make the native thing look like what I want, but I can create my own image using the values of the thing and then display the image and hide the column. I could do that all day. Happy days. That's all I've got here. Those are all the good questions. All right. Well, all right then. If that's it, then I'm gonna move back over to All right, everybody, that is all I've got for this week. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate everybody that shows up, everybody that watches the live stream, anybody that interacts, when you give it a like, when you subscribe, when you have comments and questions, man, I love it. That's all I got for this week. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy everything. Remember, if you want to participate in this year's AppSheet Community 2022 Secret Santa, there is a link down in the description. Go sign up. You'll be connected with somebody. You can give them a nice little fun gift. Should be cool. Should be a lot of fun. All right, that's all I got. And remember, say it with me here, everybody. When you're working on your app and you run into a roadblock, keep calm and AppSheet on! See you in the community, everybody.